please?
Conrad Donald Garcia.
Okay, and your affiliation would have been with whom?
Prison gang?
Yes.
Mexican Mafia.
Okay, and what years would that be?
Oh man, when it began to 85.
Okay.
I'm one of the founders.
Oh, okay, gotcha. And we're asking everybody, do you give your permission to go on camera for us to film you?
Yes.
Okay. All right, very good. And what should I call you?
D, they call me D.
Okay, I'll call you D then, if that's okay. What does D stand for?
Donald.
Donnie? Okay, Donald or? Okay, Don.
Donald.
Okay, gotcha.
So I go by my middle name.
Gotcha. Okay, D, first of all, thank you for sitting here and doing this. Talk a little bit about your past, because going back some time, if you will, you were one of the founders of an organization. Talk about what you founded and when did you do that?
Okay, when I was 17 years old, I ended up going to prison for manslaughter. Right? And while I was there in prison, in Tracy, California, doing vocational institution, I just hung around with certain young guys from different neighborhoods, right? And I used to, trip, see things, and I remember that where I came from, and and I don't mean it in a disrespectful way, man, but back then, it was about whites against Mexicans, right? It was hardly any African Americans back then in the 50s, right? Mm-hmm. And I used to remember that the white guys had most of the good jobs in prison and, honor yourselves, right? Mm-hmm. So I used to tell them little guys I ran around with, hey man, where I come from, we take from them guys, right? How about you? Because I was from the San Fernando Valley and they were from LA, right? And they go to do the same thing, man. Well, you know what, man? Hey, let's form some little old gang, right? And then we decided to put a name on it, right? And, we were coming out with different names, and we decided, well, let's call it the Mexican Mafia, right? It wasn't nothing about protection. It was nothing about that people needed to be protected. It was just that we figured we're gonna do a little uprising. We're gonna take care of our own. See, when you used to come to prison, we used to ask you, ¿Eres Chicano or you're Mexican, right? Sometimes the guys didn't speak Spanish, and they go to, oh no, I'm Indian. And then we tell them, look, man, we're gonna ask you one more time. We don't care if you speak Spanish or if you don't. But if you say you're Indian and we find out you're Mexican, you will be in trouble. And they would say, yeah, I'm a Mexican. So it was just something that we ourselves decided to do, right? It wasn't nothing to, it was just, survival, right? And, but then later on it became some big old monster, right?
Yeah, over a period of time, it really manifested itself into something that's not pretty. Talk a little bit about that, because from what you saw then and from what you see and what you've seen, it's a whole other monster, isn't it?
Yeah, see, I remember when we first came up, I'm just going to use a little old example. If we had to do some harm to somebody, like we would fight among, not physically fight, but fight amongst each other.
Sure.
So who was going to do it? But in later years, I started seeing, man, how, people started using other people to do their work, right? And when I started seeing that, I started going, hey, what's going on here? Like, say some kid ran around with me. I'm just using this as an example. I would never do that. I put in my own work. Okay. But see, I started seeing that there was a young man hanging around with one of my partners, right? And then when my partners, in the gang, time was to make a move, try to hit somebody, kill somebody, he would send that little friend that was hanging around with him. And then, see, I started seeing a lot of things. I started seeing that it wasn't we used to call ourselves carnales, brothers. I started seeing that, people were no longer as united as they were. People started snitching, people started, killing one another. And the reason I used to see, what I seen about that was people were making their bones, in other words, making their rep by killing a brother, because it was easier to kill one of your own because it is suspected. See, I started seeing all this, and little by little, I would strive to correct it, right? And you know, you know, I never knew I was going to become a Christian. You know, that's another story, man. But you know, those are the things that I started seeing. You know, that it wasn't what it was when it first started.
Let me ask you this, Dee. Also, today, a lot of young Chicanos coming into prison. As young as 16, tried as adults, 16, 17, 18. It seems today that many of them are recruited by the Mexican Mafia, used to do various other things, including murder. And here's someone coming in at 16, 17, perhaps with only a year and a half or two, and end up staying for 10 or life. Talk about that. Talk about that, because that's killing the race.
See, I do gang intervention.
Okay.
Where I come from, I work with gangs, right?
So what do you tell the young one that says, I'm 16, I'm 17, oh, I go in there, I can do my 2 years and get out? What do you tell someone like that?
I tell them, hey, it ain't like that, man. See, over there where I come from in LA, they're gonna ask you two things when you go to the county jail. They're already practicing that in juvenile hall. They'll ask you two things. If you're a Latino, paisa or sureño. Paisa means anybody that's born from Tijuana down to Argentina that is not gangbanging, you're considered a paisa. But if you're gangbanging and you're from that area, you're no longer a paisa, you're a sureño. So that's when they tell you paisa or sureño. Now, once they become sureños, the first thing that comes out of their mouth is this, I'm a soldier. And they go, no, you're not, you're a puppet. Soldiers are in Iraq. See, all of a sudden, man, you done gave total control of your life to somebody else without you realizing. See, why do you guys get along? See, out here they're killing one another. You know, I'm talking about right there in LA, San Fernando Valley, something. And once you get arrested, you become a sureño. They come up with this thing that we can't hurt you no more because we gotta unite. And I go like this, why you gotta unite? So I'm looking for something, right? And they go like, well, that's the way it is. No, well, why is it like that? Well, you know, we gotta unite to fight the blacks, the northerners, the white boy. Yeah, and they go, why? Oh, well, you know, but that's the way. Why is it like that? See, I'm waiting for a specific word. Well, those are the rules. See, those are what I'm waiting for. Oh. So you're getting along because the rules. Who makes the rules for the sureño? And they go, they don't want to say the name, you know, but you know, the big homies, meaning the mafia, right? Yeah. They say, oh, so you get along because you scared, right? So what kind of a gangbanger are you, bro? You know, that's what's waiting for you, bro. So now for you guys that think you're bad, you know, they got a spot for you, bro. And that's called SHU, Securing Housing Unit. I know guys that have been in the SHU for over 30 years, killers. And then all of a sudden, because they got so tired of being in that cell, they debrief. Debrief meaning they start giving information. Now, all this acknowledgement, all this praise that they had from the neighborhood is gone down the gutter like that because they became informers. And you go, is that what you want, bro? So is that what you want? See, in prison, you don't know what's going to happen, bro. You know, I seen guys go in there petty with a prior. And that back then was 6 months to about a year or 18 months. Pick up a murder case and never got out, right? You know, these kind of things. And then I tell them, you know, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this and this, but I say,
sure, yeah.
I tell them, there ain't no girls in there, bro.
Right.
You know? See, they go, I want to give you 7 options. 7 options, only 7 options. I call them, are you prepared? Number 1 is, are you prepared to spend the rest of your life in prison? Number 2, are you prepared to kill? Number 3, are you prepared to get killed? He says that. And number 4, are you prepared to spend the rest of your life in a cell? Now, what's the first thing you start doing when you're by yourself in a cell? You know, I don't want to get there because I don't know who's going to see this. But see, the next question is, are you prepared to become a homosexual?
Somebody's punk.
Or take your manhood away? And then I go like number 6, are you prepared to go insane? And number 7, are you prepared to commit suicide? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then they say, look, think about it, man. Think about it.
Let me ask you this.